The iPhone 16 lineup is just a little over 3 weeks from launch, and as expected, it's causing a lot of buzz in the tech grapevine with new features like the Graphene-Based Design to help with the overheating issue we had in the previous Gen 15 Pros, a new 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera, improved low light performance for better photography and videography, a more adaptive dynamic island with support for adaptive widgets, plus so much more we'll talk about a little later in the video. Buckle up and let's go for the ride. Starting with the lineup of the upcoming iPhone 16s, Apple looks to have maintained the naming system they used in the previous Gen 15s, given the fact we'll be getting the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus for the regular models, then for the Pro models, we'll be getting the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max. With the lineup out of the way, let's get into the new changes expected on the iPhone 16s, and starting with the Graphene-Based Design, I must say this is a much welcomed improvement given the amount of heat the overheating issue drew on Apple. Pun intended. Now, this is my thinking. At the time when this happened, a software update solved the problem. However, with an even more powerful A18 Pro chip while performing CPU and GPU intensive tasks like gaming, video and photo editing, then wirelessly charging, the software update would most likely not be able to handle all the heat, hence the reason why Apple introduced a graphene block to help with cooling, which ensures a better user experience. Speaking of a better user experience, what in the Apple grapevine says the iPhone 16s will be coming with bigger batteries and a more efficient processor, and if you'd ask me, that's exactly what prospective iPhone 16 buyers would want, and the best part is we finally get faster charging. You'll now be getting 40-watt wired charging up from 25, then 20 watts up from 15 when you charge your phone via MagSafe. Now, another one question most people will be asking themselves is, are we getting a new 40-watt charging block with the new iPhone 16s? Well, if Apple's history is anything to go by, most likely it's just going to be the phone, charging cable, a SIM ejector tool, and the Apple stickers if you're lucky. But if you'd ask me, it would be nice if Apple ushered this new era with the 40-watt charging brick. Anyway, my wishful thinking aside, a much improved camera system is something that you'll most likely be getting straight out of the box, with the most significant being an upgraded ultra-wide lens bumping up to 48 megapixels up from 12 megapixels. Something to note though, this upgrade would be for the Pro models only. As for use case, that obviously means they'll be able to capture more light, and for those who've tried to shoot using the ultra-wide lens, you know how noisy the image looks. Moving along, other key upgrades to the cameras are the ability to capture up to 48 megapixel Pro RAW photos, as well as a bump to 5x zoom in the telephoto lens for the 16 Pro, which will now be at par with the 16 Pro Max when it comes to zoom range. However, in Apple's classic style, to make you upgrade to the more expensive phone, what in the tech grapevine says the 16 Pro Max will be getting a super telephoto periscope lens for even better zoom capabilities, and some people say it will be the equivalent of a 300mm lens. As for the main camera, it will be getting a more improved 8-part hybrid lens design that comes with a larger sensor, which if you'd ask me is a great addition, putting in mind the iPhone camera has struggled with lens flares and low light scenes for a while now. It's also reported the iPhone 16 lineup will be getting a dedicated camera button slightly lower than the power button, and if you'd ask me, I like the concept that a half press would help you focus on a subject, a full press will take a photo or start a recording, then when you swipe left or right, you'll be able to zoom in and out. As for the overall camera design, the Pro models will carry on with a 3-stack triangle lens layout, whereas the regular 16s will be going back to the 2-stack vertical layout, which screams iPhone X vibes, the only difference being the 2 camera lenses stand on their own. In case you didn't know, this design change was specifically made to support spatial video recording on the regular 16 and 16 Plus, which wasn't on the regular 15s because of the diagonal camera layout. Moving on to the design, what on the rumor mill is the 16 and 16 Plus will remain at 6.1 and 6.7 inches, whereas the Pros will be getting a slight size bump to 6.3 and 6.9 inches for the Pro and Pro Max respectively. Moving to the opposite side of the size increase trend, all 4 models are reported to be getting smaller bezels, and this is a trend we've seen from the last few iPhone releases, although the Pro models will have the thinnest bezels. As for the action button, which by the way was one of the biggest talking points of the 15 Pro lineup last year, will finally be making its way to the standard iPhone 16, and at this point it's dropped to the back of the stage and no one is talking much about it. Moving on to the display, it's reported the Pro models will be getting a 20% boost in screen brightness, bumping up to 1200 nits thanks to the new micro lens array technology. Now, that combined with the thinner bezels allows for some serious immersion when consuming content on your phone, all of which are made possible thanks to the new border reduction structure that helps reduce the bezels whilst maintaining the structural integrity of the phone. As for the screen refresh rates, the Pro models have been getting 120Hz each year, and we expect that to be the case for the 16 Pros. When it comes to the regular models, 60Hz has been the standard, and if you'd ask me, for a phone that costs $1,200 Australian dollars, 120Hz should be the bare minimum. Moving along, the colorways also play a part in the selection criteria when buying your iPhone, and this year what in the rumor mill hints to a classic black, which is said to be darker than usual, a sleek white, a silver or grey, then the return of rose gold for the Pro iPhones. As for the regular 16s, we'll be getting blue, green, white, black and muted pink. From a personal standpoint, I've always gone for darker colored iPhones, and this year wouldn't be any different. Having talked about most of the external features, let's dive under the hood and unpack the processor and what it has to offer on the performance side of things. Getting into it, the Pro models will be jumping on the A18 Pro chip. If last year's naming system is anything to go by, then for the regular 16s, the A17 Pro chip would be the most likely chip in use. But in saying that, there have been talks the regular models will be getting the A18 chips, then the Pro models will be getting the Pro chip, just like in the phone naming system. Now, as we've already seen over in America, the A17 Pro chip is more than capable when it comes to handling Apple Intelligence features, but at this point, it's going to be a pretty slow rollout for the rest of the world, which will trickle into 2025. Spec-wise, like mentioned earlier, word on the streets points to a slight spec bump across all the 16s on the single-core, multi-core and graphics performance, then a hefty boost to the Neural Engine NPU. When it comes to the RAM, once again, what on the Apple rumor mill points to an increase from 6 to 8 gigs, which if you put into perspective, takes into account the amount of RAM Apple Intelligence tasks use. Moving along, when it comes to connectivity, the iPhone 16 Pro models will be getting an upgrade to Wi-Fi 7 thanks to the new X75 Qualcomm modems from Snapdragon. This will bring faster download and upload speeds as well as efficient power and space usage. As for the regular 16s, they'll be using the X70 modem, which is what we saw in the 15 Pro models last year. Something to note though, for you to experience the fast Wi-Fi 7 speeds, you'll have to use a Wi-Fi router or modem that supports Wi-Fi 7 speeds. With pretty much everything about the changes we'll most likely see in the iPhone 16s laid out, I must say the iPhone 16 lineup looks fairly compelling with all the new features, and whether it's the graphene-based design to help with cooling when you push your phone to the max, the upgraded camera system that promises better low-light photography and video capture, the faster A18 and A18 Pro chips will be in for quite the ride. Now, that said and done, the big question is, should you upgrade? Well, it's quite nuanced depending on your use case and the model you're currently on. Starting with the average consumer, the new features, while fairly compelling, you'll be using your phone for communication, social media browsing, casual photography, and if that's the case, the improvements are incremental for everyday use, and therefore, if you own an iPhone 13 and upwards, you should be fine unless you badly want to use Apple Intelligence features. If that's the case, I'd recommend getting a refurbished iPhone 15 Pro since they'd be a lot pocket friendly once the 16s launch. For the tech enthusiasts and those with deep pockets who like pushing their phone's boundaries, whether through gaming, videography or intense multitasking, the iPhone 16 lineup will most likely exceed your expectations thanks to the features I've talked about throughout the video, like the graphene-based design, faster chips, upgraded camera system, plus so much more. Well, there you have it guys. I hope this video helps you to make a good choice once the iPhone 16s drop. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and click the notification bell as I will be unboxing the iPhone 16 Pro once it drops. If you're looking to upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro since it will be going down in price, here's a comprehensive 1-year review that will help you with that. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you on the next one.